The grand hall of the Galactic Council stretched wide and tall. Its walls shined with strange lights from 1,000 different worlds. Ambassador Sarah Chen walked through the massive doors. Her black boots made small sounds on the crystal floor. Behind her, 2 human guards followed in silence. Sarah looked up. The council members sat on high chairs that floated in the air. There were 12 of them. Each one belonged to a different alien race. Some had scales, some had fur, others had skin that glowed in the dark. In the center sat High Chancellor Vex. He was a Krellix, tall and proud. His 4 eyes watched Sarah with cold interest. His purple skin seemed to shine under the hall's bright lights. Next to him sat Commander Zeth of the Vorian Empire. Her silver armor caught the light as she moved. "Welcome, human," Vex said. His voice was deep and loud. It filled the whole hall. "You have come at our invitation." Sarah stopped in the center of the hall. She stood alone under the floating chairs. The council members looked down at her like gods looking at a small child. She did not show any fear on her face. "We are here, Chancellor," Sarah replied. Her voice was calm and clear. Vex smiled. It was not a kind smile. "The Galactic Council has watched your species for many years now. You humans have spread across several star systems. You have built colonies. You have created weapons. You have even won some small battles." Other council members nodded. One of them, a creature that looked like a floating jellyfish, made sounds of agreement. However, Vex continued, "You are still young, still weak, still learning the ways of the galaxy." He paused and looked at the other council members. They all stared at Sarah with the same look, pity mixed with pride. "That is why we have brought you here today," Vex said. He pressed a button on his chair. A holographic screen appeared in the air. It showed a long document with thousands of lines of text. "We offer you peace." The word peace echoed in the hall, but somehow it did not sound peaceful. "This is the Treaty of Protection," Vex explained. "Under this treaty, humanity will be welcomed into the Galactic Council's sphere of influence. You will be safe, you will be guided, you will be protected." Sarah's eyes moved across the holographic document. She read line after line. Her face showed nothing. No anger, no surprise, no fear, just cold calculation. The treaty was long, very long, but the main points were clear. Humans must reduce their military forces by 75%. Humans must close all weapon research facilities. Humans must give up control of 12 colony worlds. These worlds would be managed by the Council. Humans must follow all Council trade laws. Humans must pay a yearly tribute of resources to the Council. Humans could not make treaties with other races without Council permission. And the final point, humans must accept Council representatives on Earth itself. These representatives would have the power to guide human government decisions. Sarah read every word slowly. The Council members watched her with satisfaction. They had done this before with other young races. Those races had signed. They had no choice. The Council was too powerful, too old, too wise. Minutes passed in silence. The only sound was the quiet hum of the hall's energy systems. Finally, Sarah looked up. She met Vex's 4 eyes with her too. "Is this your final offer?" she asked. Vex leaned forward in his chair. "It is not an offer, Ambassador Chen. It is reality. You can accept peace and protection, or you can face the galaxy alone, without friends, without trade, without support." Commander Zeth spoke for the first time. Her voice was sharp like broken glass. "We have seen what happens to young races who refuse the Council's wisdom. They struggle, they fail, they beg to come back. Some do not survive at all." Another Council member added, "Be grateful, human. We do not offer this to every species. Some races we simply ignore. They fade away into darkness." Sarah stood very still. She looked at each council member one by one. She saw their pride, their certainty, their absolute belief that humans would sign. They had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They had never been told no by anyone who mattered. Sarah took a deep breath. She looked down at the treaty one more time. The holographic words floated in the air between her and the council. Then she did something unexpected. She smiled. It was a small smile. Cold. Dangerous. The kind of smile that warriors make before a battle. High Chancellor Vex saw Sarah's smile. He did not understand it. Why would she smile? Did she not understand the situation? "You find something amusing, Ambassador?" Vex asked. His voice became colder. Sarah's smile did not fade. "I find it interesting, Chancellor. Very interesting." Vex's 4 eyes narrowed. He did not like her tone. It showed no fear, no respect. Young races were supposed to be afraid of the council. They were supposed to feel grateful for any attention from their superiors. "Perhaps you do not fully understand," Vex said slowly, as if speaking to a child. "Let me make this clear for you. Humanity is weak. You have been in space for less than 200 years. We have been here for thousands. You have 20 colony worlds. We control systems beyond counting. You have small ships with basic weapons. We have armadas that can darken entire suns." He paused and leaned forward. "You need us." The other council members made sounds of agreement. The jellyfish-like creature pulsed with light. A reptilian member hissed softly. They all enjoyed this moment. The moment when young races realized their place in the galaxy. Commander Zeth stood up from her floating chair. A silver armor gleamed as she moved. "Your species is primitive," she said. Her voice was sharp and cutting. "You still fight among yourselves. You waste resources on pointless conflicts. You have no discipline, no unity, no vision." Another council member spoke. This one looked like a giant insect with multiple eyes. "We have studied your history, humans. War after war after war. You destroy your own kind. You cannot even keep peace on your home planet. How can you possibly survive in a galaxy full of real threats?" Sarah kept her face calm, but inside, a fire was starting to burn. These aliens thought they knew humanity. They thought they understood what humans were capable of. They were wrong. "You speak of our wars," Sarah said quietly. "Yes, we have fought. We have struggled. We have made mistakes." "Exactly," Vex interrupted. "This is why you need the Council's wisdom. We will teach you. We will guide you. We will save you from yourselves." The Council members nodded like teachers proud of their lesson. But Sarah continued speaking. Her voice grew stronger. "Our wars taught us things, Chancellor. They taught us how to survive, how to adapt, how to never give up, even when everything seems lost." Vex waved his hand dismissively. "Survival? Child's play. The galaxy is not impressed by mere survival. The Council offers you more than survival. We offer you civilization, culture, order." "Your order," Sarah said. It was not a question. "Of course, our order." Vex's voice boomed through the hall. "Because we know better. We are ancient. We are powerful. We are wise." He stood up from his floating chair. His full height was impressive, nearly 3 meters tall. "You humans are like insects who just learned to fly, and now you think you can soar with eagles." The council chamber filled with alien laughter. Not kind laughter, mocking laughter. The sound of those who believed themselves superior laughing at those they considered beneath them. Commander Zeth spoke again. "Be grateful we even notice you. There are hundreds of young species in the galaxy. Most are not worth our time. Most die out before reaching your level. You should feel honored that we offer you protection." "Protection from what?" Sarah asked. "From everything," the insect-like council member said. "From pirates, from rival empires, from your own stupidity. Without the Council, you would be conquered or destroyed within a decade. Vex sat back down. He looked satisfied with himself. The treaty is generous, human. More generous than you deserve. Sign it. Accept our wisdom, or go back to your small corner of space and wait for the inevitable. The inevitable? Sarah asked. Your extinction, Vex said simply. Young races who refuse the Council always meet the same fate. They think they are strong. They think they are special. They are wrong. They die alone and forgotten. The hall became quiet again. The Council members all stared at Sarah. They were waiting for her to break, waiting for her to realize she had no choice, waiting for her to bow her head and accept their terms. This was the moment every young race faced, the moment of submission. But Sarah did not bow her head. Instead, she looked directly at Vex. Her eyes were like ice, cold, hard, unbreaking. You think you know us, she said softly. You think you understand humanity. But you are wrong, Chancellor. You see our short history and think we are weak. You see our conflicts and think we are foolish. She took a step forward. You look at us and see children. But we are not children. We are survivors, and you have made a mistake today. Vex's expression changed. For just a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Doubt, concern, but it passed quickly, replaced by anger. How dare you? He thundered. You stand in our hall at our mercy, and you speak of mistakes. We are the Galactic Council. We decide who rises and who falls. We reject your treaty, Sarah said. The words cut through the hall like a knife through silence. For 3 long seconds, nobody spoke. Nobody moved. The words hung in the air like thunder after lightning. We reject your treaty. High Chancellor Vex stared at Sarah. His 4 eyes were wide with shock. The other council members looked at each other in confusion. This had never happened before. No young race had ever said no to the council. What did you say? Vex asked slowly. Sarah's voice was calm and clear. I said we reject your treaty, Chancellor. Humanity will not accept your terms. Commander Zeth laughed. It was a harsh, cold laugh. You cannot be serious. You actually think you have a choice. We always have a choice, Sarah replied. The insect-like council member clicked his mandibles rapidly. This is foolishness. You do not understand what you are doing. I understand perfectly, Sarah said. She looked at the holographic treaty floating in the air. You want us to give up our weapons, give up our colonies, give up our freedom. You want to control us, to make us servants wearing the mask of allies. We offer you protection, Vex shouted. His purple skin darkened with anger. You offer us chains, Sarah said. Beautiful chains. Comfortable chains. But chains nonetheless. The jellyfish creature pulsed with angry red light. Ungrateful. Arrogant. Stupid humans. Vex raised his hand for silence. He took a deep breath. When he spoke again, his voice was low and dangerous. Ambassador Chen, you are making a terrible mistake. Let me explain something to you very clearly. He pressed another button. The treaty disappeared. A new holographic display appeared. It showed a star map, hundreds of systems, thousands of worlds. This is Council space, Vex said. See how vast it is. See how powerful we are. He pointed to a tiny cluster of stars at the edge. And this is your humanity. 20 small worlds, a handful of ships, nothing. Sarah looked at the map. She showed no emotion. If you reject this treaty, Vex continued, you will have no friends in this galaxy, no trade partners, no allies. We will tell every race under our protection to avoid you. Your ships will find no welcome in any port. Your colonies will receive no help when disasters strike. You will be alone. We have been alone before, Sarah said quietly. Commander Zeth stood again. Alone on your small planet, yes, but alone in space. That is different. Space is cold. Space is cruel. Space does not care about your pride or your bravery. It will crush you. Another council member spoke. This one looked like a floating brain surrounded by tentacles. There are threats in this galaxy, human. Threats you cannot imagine. Pirates who would enslave your entire species. Empires who would use your worlds for target practice. Creatures from dark space that eat civilizations. Without the Council's protection, you will face all of this alone. Then we will face it alone, Sarah said. The Council members looked at each other. This human was not backing down. They could not believe it. Every young race eventually understood, eventually bowed, eventually accepted their place. But this one was different. Vex's anger exploded. You fool! Do you think you are the first to refuse us? Do you think others have not tried to be independent? They all failed. They all came crawling back, begging for our help. But by then, it was too late. We watched them burn. We watched them die. Maybe they were not like us, Sarah said. You are not special. Vex roared. You are just another young race who thinks they are unique. But you are nothing. Nothing. You have no ancient weapons, no secret technology, no hidden strength. You are weak, and you will remain weak. Sarah smiled again. That same cold, dangerous smile from before. But this time, it was wider. You are right about one thing, Chancellor, she said softly. We have no ancient weapons. We only have new ones. We have no secret technology. We only have what we built ourselves. We have no hidden strength. She paused. Her eyes grew colder. We only have the strength you see, and you have never truly looked. Vex stepped down from his floating chair. He walked towards Sarah. His 3-meter height towered over her. He looked down with all 4 eyes burning with rage. If you walk out of this hole, he said slowly, there will be consequences. Serious consequences. The Council does not forget. The Council does not forgive. We will make an example of humanity. Other young races will learn what happens to those who refuse our generosity. Sarah looked up at him. She did not step back. She did not blink. Then make your example, Chancellor, she said. We will make ours. She turned around. Her black boots clicked on the crystal floor as she walked toward the massive doors. The 2 human guards followed her. Stop, Vex commanded. You cannot just leave. But Sarah kept walking. This is a mistake, Commander Zeth shouted. You will regret this. Sarah reached the doors. They opened automatically. Bright light from the corridor outside flooded into the dark council chamber. She stopped at the threshold. She turned her head slightly, looking back over her shoulder. No, Chancellor, she said quietly. You will. Then she walked out. The doors closed behind her with a sound like thunder. In the council chamber, 12 of the galaxy's most powerful beings stood in shocked silence. They had just made the biggest mistake of their lives. They just did not know it yet. But this one was different. Vex's anger exploded. You fool! Do you think you are the first to refuse us? Do you think others have not tried to be independent? They all failed. They all came crawling back, begging for our help. But by then it was too late. We watched them burn. We watched them die. Maybe they were not like us, Sarah said. You are not special. Vex roared. You are just another young race who thinks they are unique. But you are nothing. Nothing. You have no ancient weapons, no secret technology, no hidden strength. You are weak, and you will remain weak. Sarah smiled again. That same cold, dangerous smile from before. But this time, it was wider. You are right about one thing, Chancellor, she said softly. We have no ancient weapons. We only have new ones. We have no secret technology. We only have what we built ourselves. We have no hidden strength. She paused. Her eyes grew colder. "We only have the strength you see, and you have never truly looked." Vex stepped down from his floating chair. He walked towards Sarah. His 3-meter height towered over her. He looked down with all 4 eyes burning with rage. "If you walk out of this hall," he said slowly, "there will be consequences. Serious consequences. The Council does not forget. The Council does not forgive. We will make an example of humanity. Other young races will learn what happens to those who refuse our generosity." Sarah looked up at him. She did not step back. She did not blink. "Then make your example, Chancellor," she said. "We will make ours." She turned around. Her black boots clicked on the crystal floor as she walked toward the massive doors. The 2 human guards followed her. "Stop," Vex commanded. "You cannot just leave." But Sarah kept walking. "This is a mistake," Commander Zeth shouted. "You will regret this." Sarah reached the doors. They opened automatically. Bright light from the corridor outside flooded into the dark council chamber. She stopped at the threshold. She turned her head slightly, looking back over her shoulder. "No, Chancellor," she said quietly. "You will." Then she walked out. The doors closed behind her with a sound like thunder. In the council chamber, 12 of the galaxy's most powerful beings stood in shocked silence. They had just made the biggest mistake of their lives. They just did not know it yet. 3 days after Sarah Chen walked out of the council hall, High Chancellor Vex sent his first message to Earth. It was not a kind message. It was a threat. "The Galactic Council hereby declares humanity unwelcome in all Council territories. All trade agreements are cancelled. All diplomatic relations are ended. Humanity now stands alone." Vex expected a response. Maybe fear, maybe anger, maybe a desperate plea to reconsider. But no response came. Earth was silent. 1 week passed. Vex sent another message. "This is your last chance, humans. Accept the treaty. Accept our wisdom, or face the consequences." Again, silence. Commander Zeth sat in her command center, watching the long-range scanners. Human ships were moving, but not in the pattern she expected. They were not coming to Council space to beg for help. They were not panicking. They were retreating. "Strange," Zeth muttered to herself. "Very strange." Human colony ships began leaving their outer worlds. Cargo vessels stopped traveling their usual trade routes. Military ships disappeared from border patrols. "They are running scared," one of Zeth's officers said. "The humans finally understand they cannot survive without the Council." But Zeth was not so sure. Something felt wrong. Humans did not run from fights. Their entire history showed this. They fought. They struggled. They never just gave up. So, what were they doing? 2 weeks passed. The Council held an emergency meeting. "The humans have gone dark," the insect-like member reported. "Their communication networks are still active, but they are not responding to any outside contact." "Good," Vex said. "Let them suffer in silence. Soon they will learn their lesson." But the jellyfish creature pulsed with uncertain colors. "I do not understand their behavior. Young races usually send desperate messages when isolated. They beg. They negotiate. These humans, they say nothing." "Pride," Vex dismissed. "Human pride. It will break soon enough." 1 month passed. Now the Council members were not so confident. Human colonies on the Outer Rim had become completely empty. Whole cities abandoned. Mining operations shut down. Research stations deserted. "Where did they go?" the brain-like Council member asked. Where did the humans take their people? Nobody had an answer. Council intelligence ships tried to follow the human vessels, but something impossible happened. The human ships simply vanished. One moment, they were on scanners. The next moment, gone. They must have new stealth technology, an intelligence officer reported to Commander Zeth. Impossible, Zeth said. Humans are not advanced enough for that level of technology. We have studied their capabilities. Their ships are basic. Simple. They cannot just disappear. But they had disappeared. Thousands of human ships. Millions of human colonists. All gone. Moved to. Somewhere. Somewhere the Council could not find. 3 months passed. Vex was no longer angry. He was worried. Send diplomatic ships to Earth, he ordered. Find out what they are planning. The diplomatic ships arrived at Earth's solar system. They sent greeting messages. They requested meetings. They offered to negotiate. Earth's response was short and cold. Leave our space immediately. You are not welcome here. The diplomatic ships left. They had no choice. Earth's defense stations tracked them with weapons the entire time. New weapons. Weapons that made the Council ships' sensors scream warnings. What are those? A diplomat asked his captain. I do not know, the captain replied, his voice shaking. But our computer says they can destroy our ship in seconds. When do humans build those? 4 months passed. The first Council outpost went dark. It was a small listening station on the edge of Council space. 20 crew members. Nothing important. One day it was sending regular reports. The next day, silence. Vex sent a ship to investigate. When they arrived, the outpost was empty. No bodies, no signs of battle. Just empty. All the data cores were gone. Taken. Pirates, Vex decided. Just pirates. But he did not sound certain. 5 months passed. More outposts went dark. 3 more. Then 5. Then 10. All the same pattern. No battles. No debris. Just empty stations with missing data. Council fleets were sent to patrol the borders. They found nothing. No pirates. No raiders. No enemies. Just empty space. And silence. 6 months after humanity rejected the treaty, Commander Zeth sat in her command center staring at the star maps. Red dots marked every station that had gone dark. There were 37 now. An officer approached her nervously. Commander, there is a pattern. Show me, Zeth ordered. The officer highlighted the red dots. When connected, they formed a shape, a circle that was slowly closing around Council space. Zeth's blood ran cold. Where are the humans? She whispered, as if answering her question. Every alarm in the command center began screaming at once. Contact, an officer shouted. Multiple contacts. Ships emerging from. I do not know where they came from. They just appeared. Zeth looked at her main screen. Her face went pale. Human warships, hundreds of them, surrounding 3 Council military bases at once. How? Zeth could not finish her sentence. The human ships were not the basic vessels Council intelligence had recorded. These were different. Bigger, faster, covered in weapons that Council sensors could barely identify. A message came from the lead human ship. It was brief. Leave these bases. You have 1 hour. This is your only warning. Zeth could not move, could not speak, could not think. The humans had not been running. They had not been hiding. They had been preparing. And now, 6 months later, they were ready. The Council had made a terrible mistake. And the price was about to be paid. Commander Zeth stared at her screens in disbelief. The human warships were not moving. They just floated in space, surrounding the 3 Council bases like silent hunters. 1 hour, she whispered. They gave us 1 hour. What do we do, Commander? An officer asked. Zeth's hands shook. She had fought in many wars. She had seen powerful enemies. But something about these human ships made her afraid. They looked wrong, too advanced, too powerful for a race that was supposed to be weak. Send a message to High Chancellor Vex, she ordered. Tell him the humans are here. Across the galaxy, in the Council's Grand Hall, Vex received the message. At first, he laughed. A few human ships dare to threaten us. Send our fleets. Destroy them. Show them what happens when insects challenge eagles. But then more reports came in. Not just 3 bases under threat, 15, then 30, then 50. Human warships were appearing everywhere at once. In Council space, near Council colonies, around Council trade routes. How many ships did they have? Where did they all come from? This is impossible, Vex shouted. 6 months ago, they had maybe 300 military ships. Now they have thousands. Where did they build them? Where did they hide them? Nobody had answers. The 1-hour deadline ended at the first base. The Council commander there refused to leave. He called the humans cowards. He said the Council never surrendered to anyone. The human response was swift and terrible. Weapons fired from the human ships, not the basic plasma cannons Council intelligence had documented. These were new weapons. Advanced weapons. Weapons that cut through Council shields like they were paper. The base's defenses lasted 45 seconds. Then the base went dark. Completely dark. No power, no life support, no communications. A human boarding team entered the base. They evacuated all Council personnel to escape pods and sent them away. Then they took everything. All weapons, all data, all technology. When they left, the base was an empty shell floating in space. News of the attack spread through Council space like fire. Panic started to grow. At another base, the commander was smarter. He evacuated his people before the deadline ended. He watched from his escape ship as human teams stripped the base of everything valuable. They are not destroying, he reported to Vex. They are taking our technology, taking our weapons, taking our data. Vex felt ice in his chest. Why? What do they want with our technology? They rejected our civilization. They rejected our wisdom. But deep down, he was starting to understand. The humans were not rejecting technology. They were rejecting submission. Commander Zeth sat in her flagship, watching as human ships moved through Council space like ghosts. They appeared from nowhere, struck fast, then vanished again. How are they doing this? She demanded. Our sensors are the best in the galaxy. We should see them coming. A science officer spoke nervously. Commander, I have a theory. The humans, they may have developed quantum jump technology. Impossible, Zeth said. That technology takes thousands of years to develop. We are still working on it ourselves. But Commander, the officer continued, that would explain everything. How they disappeared 6 months ago. How they are appearing and vanishing now. They can jump directly into any location without using normal space travel. Zeth closed her eyes. The pieces were falling into place. The humans had not wasted those 6 months. They had been working, building, advancing. While the Council laughed at them, humans were becoming something new, something dangerous. An emergency transmission came from High Chancellor Vex. His voice was no longer proud and strong. It was tight with worry. All Council fleets converge on Sector 7. We will show these humans they cannot defeat us through hit-and-run tactics. We will force them into a real battle. 200 Council warships gathered in Sector 7. The best ships from the best fleets. Armed with weapons that had won 1,000 wars. Crewed by warriors from a dozen different races, they waited for the humans to come. And the humans came. But not with a few ships, not with a small fleet. They came with 500 warships, all equipped with new technology, all carrying weapons the Council had never seen before. The battle lasted 3 hours. When it ended, 70 Council ships were destroyed or disabled. The rest retreated in disorder. The humans lost 5 ships. 5. In the Council's Grand Hall, 12 powerful beings sat in shocked silence. The reports kept coming in. Human victories everywhere. Council forces retreating. Panic spreading through Council space. The insect-like member spoke first. How did this happen? How did they become so powerful so fast? The jellyfish creature pulsed with dark colors. We underestimated them. We thought they were weak. We thought they were children. Vex sat in his chair, his 4 eyes staring at nothing. He remembered Sarah Chen's last words. "You will regret this." She had been right. The brain-like member spoke quietly. They were never weak. We just never looked properly. We saw their short history and thought we knew everything about them. But we knew nothing. Commander Zeth appeared on the holographic screen. Her face was pale. "Chancellor, the humans are sending a message. They want to speak with you." Vexed took a deep breath. "Put it through." Sarah Chen's face appeared on the screen. She looked different now, harder, colder, like someone who had won a war. "Hello, Chancellor," she said calmly. "Are you ready to negotiate now?" High Chancellor Vex looked at Sarah Chen's face on the screen. 6 months ago, she had stood in his hall like a small insect. Now, she looked like a warrior queen. "Negotiate," Vex said slowly. "You attack our bases, destroy our fleets, and now you want to negotiate." Sarah's expression did not change. "You offered us a treaty once, Chancellor. Do you remember? You wanted us to give up our weapons, our colonies, our freedom. You said we were too weak to survive alone." Vex said nothing. What could he say? "We proved you wrong," Sarah continued. "Humanity does not need the Council's protection. We never did." Commander Zeth appeared on another screen. "How?" she asked. Her voice was tired, defeated. "How did you advance so fast? 6 months ago, your technology was basic. Now you have weapons and ships beyond our understanding." Sarah smiled slightly. "You made a mistake, Commander. You thought human history was a weakness. All those wars, all that conflict, all that struggle. It is a weakness," Vex interrupted. "No," Sarah said firmly. "It was training. Every war taught us something new. Every battle made us stronger. Every defeat showed us our mistakes. For thousands of years, we fought each other. We learned. We adapted. We survived." The Council members listened in silence. "When you rejected us," Sarah continued, "you gave us something precious. You gave us a common enemy. For the first time in human history, every nation, every colony, every human being united completely. Not because we wanted to, because we had to." The brain-like Council member spoke. "But the technology, the ships, the weapons, where did they come from?" "We built them," Sarah said simply. "In 6 months, we built what you thought would take us centuries. Do you know why? Because when humans are threatened, when we are told we cannot do something, we do not give up. We work harder. We think faster. We push beyond every limit." She paused. "You called us weak. You called us children. But weakness and youth are not the same thing. Youth means potential. Youth means room to grow. And we grew, Chancellor. We grew very fast." Vex felt something he had not felt in centuries. Shame. "What do you want from us?" he asked quietly. "Want?" Sarah laughed. It was not a cruel laugh, just tired. 6 months ago, we wanted peace, fair trade, respectful relations. You offered us chains instead. And now?" Commander Zeth asked. "Now, we do not need anything from you," Sarah said. "We have our own trade routes, our own allies, our own path forward. The galaxy is large, Chancellor. There is room for the Council and for humanity. But we will never bow to you. We will never accept your protection. We will never be your servants." The jellyfish creature pulsed nervously. "You could destroy us. Your fleets are stronger now. Your weapons are superior. You could finish what you started." Sarah shook her head. "We are not conquerors, Chancellor. We fight when we must, but we do not seek to dominate others. That is your way, not ours." "Then what happens now?" Vex asked. "Now, you leave us alone," Sarah said firmly. "Your ships stay out of human space. Your agents stop watching our colonies. Your council stops trying to control young races. Let them choose their own path. Let them make their own mistakes. Let them grow without your chains." Vex was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke, and his voice sounded old and tired. "We were trying to help, to guide, to protect." "No," Sarah said gently. "You were trying to control. There is a difference, Chancellor. Real help means respecting others' choices. Real guidance means allowing mistakes. Real protection means teaching others to protect themselves." She looked directly at Vex with clear, strong eyes. "You built an empire on the weakness of young races. You offered protection they did not need and demanded submission in return. But empires built on fear and control always fall eventually." "Is that a threat?" Commander Zeth asked. "No," Sarah said. "It is history. Human history. We have seen empires rise and fall for thousands of years. We learned that lesson well. I hope you learn it too." The transmission ended. Sarah's face disappeared from the screens. In the council hall, 12 powerful beings sat in silence. Outside, their empire was changing. Young races who heard about humanity's victory were asking questions, demanding better treatment. Some were even leaving council protection entirely. The galaxy was learning a new lesson, a lesson the council had forgotten long ago. Power without respect is temporary. Control without consent is fragile. Pride without wisdom is dangerous. Vex looked at his fellow council members. "We made a mistake," he said quietly. "Yes," the brain-like member agreed. "We mistook patience for weakness. We mistook youth for inability. We mistook silence for fear." The humans were right about one thing. The insect member clicked. "We never truly looked at them. We only saw what we expected to see." Commander Zeth's voice came through the comm system. "Chancellor, more young races are requesting to renegotiate their treaties. They want terms like the humans demanded: fair trade, equal partnership, no submission." Vex closed his 4 eyes. The galaxy was changing. The old ways were ending. And it was the Council's own fault. They had pushed humanity away. And humanity had shown the entire galaxy that the Council was not invincible, not necessary, not as wise as they claimed to be. Somewhere in human space, Sarah Chen sat in her office on Earth. She looked out at the stars. Those same stars the Council thought they owned. But stars belong to no one. Space belongs to no one. The galaxy was big enough for everyone. Humanity had learned that lesson. Perhaps, one day, the Council would learn it too. But that was not humanity's problem anymore. Humanity had its own path now, its own future, its own destiny. And no one would ever make them bow again.